Earlier, I was watching the gunplay in the Florida Bay District School Board meeting in Florida, close to Panama City. Now, Clay Duke, 56 years of age, went into the meeting. His wife had lost her job from the school board, and he started to ramble. And he draw the circle, draw the V, and all that, and pull out his gun and fired off some shots at the school board members. And he was shot by the security. And while on the ground, he just put a gun to his head and shot himself. No, what a waste of life, huh? So his wife now hasn't lost only her job, but they have to find money to bury him. And now she's a widower. But this reminds me of my little experience with a school board in Florida. Now, I had been studying at a college from which I graduated with a first class honors degree, summa cum laude. And I had a project thesis entitled How to Have Better Behaved Students in the School District. So I went to the school board, I signed the speaker's card, and when it was time to speak, I got up and I made my point. And the superintendent, John Fryer, he had his eye fixed on me, and the other other board members were watching, and I could see like they were intimidated. Because you see, Jacksonville is a little Ku Klux Klan town, and when you're black and you got some sense and you speaking publicly very professionally and all that, they don't like that. They hate you for that. In other words, in that town, you have to be seen and not heard as a black person. So I made my speech and so on, and I said, if you need a copy of my paper, I could give it to you and so on and so forth. I think a board member said, yeah, I'd like a copy. And later on, I heard them talking aspects of my program. They want to implement it and so on. But guess what? 3 days after, this school board superintendent, John Fryer, I used to drive a school bus at that time. He sent to my bus driver boss and said, look, I want you to bring this guy over to the security for a meeting with our security department. When I went over there, waited. A black and a white security officer came out. The white security officer is like handicapped. He had a short foot, 1 foot is shorter. And limping it, coming. They ushered me into a room and they asked my boss to stay outside. So they presented a stack of papers. And they said, look, you've been writing these threatening letters to the school board. You say, look, man, the black guy, he's the maverick. He kind of like, he's the star. Saying, look, man, I want to help you, bro. Now, if you confess to writing these threatening letters, me and my partner, we could help you right to the back gate and got to go forward. It's done right here. We got it, bro. You say, man, if you don't confess, you can't drive school bus. You can't go on the school property. You can't play basketball on the property. You can't do a whole bunch of stuff. But he don't understand I'm a foreigner and I don't care about playing basketball anywhere. So it's like he wasn't talking to me, period. But he was asking me to do something serious, to confess to writing these threatening letters. We think I'm stupid or something. You think I'm a crackhead or whatever. All right? Now, he says that the speaker's card that I filled out, he was able to compare that signature there, or the handwriting, with what's on the paperwork, and therefore they concluded it's me. Now, I said, bro, I can't confess to that. I didn't do that, man. You know I didn't do that, okay? So I was going to handle him. He said, don't touch the papers. So my fingerprint's not on the papers, okay? And it's going to be a problem if my fingerprints get on the paper, and then, it's like, how did it get there, all right? So he said, okay, just sign it that you didn't say it and just be gone. So my boss asked them if I could still drive the bus. He said, well, okay, for now, you could continue driving while we explore this a little more. So sometime before this, or sometime around, a guy who used to be in the community, he always come in and ask me for money and so forth. And I suspect he was kind of like FBI or some police or something like that. So I kept giving him money and, just to keep him happy. Once he came and he sold me a radio. He said, man, I need $10 this radio, bro, and I'll give you the bag for free. I said, bro, I don't need a radio, man. I have a television here. That's all I do. I'm so busy. I don't have time for that. And he keep on. I said, here's the $10, bro. See ya. He said, well, you want the radio? No, I don't need it. You could go with it, bro. So he said, well, I'm going to leave it here for a little bit. No, man, you could take it and go, bro. Throw it in the garbage. You got paid already, man. So he left. Another time he came back, he brought a woman. He said, bro, I bring this woman for you, bro. I said, bro, man, I have my people across town, man. What's up? So he sit down a little bit. He said, hey, man, can I use your room, man? I want to get down with this woman, bro. He said, man, if you hear a bunch of banging, banging going down, it's just getting down. Don't take nothing, okay? So I had three rooms. I'm in another room and I'm on the internet and he's carrying on here and bam, 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 bam. So when I left, he said, okay, man, we gone. And I look at the people, there's no emotional connection, there's no nothing, there's nothing. I mean, subconsciously, I know there was no sex. I want to know what they were doing. Now, you would say, why did you let him use your room? Well, for the reason I told you, I think he's FBI, I think he's some police, some informant, and if I don't cooperate with him, I'm going to have some trouble, okay? Now, um, so when he left, I kept looking all around to see what is it they were doing. I look up in the chimney, I look under the bed, looking all around, I find nothing. So one Saturday morning, I noticed that, well, this place was a kind of derelict. The one window in the bedroom was boarded up from inside and outside. So I hold the end and I found it's loose. So when I put my hand in, I felt something soft. I found a gun, in other words. I found a Saturday night special silver with a clip of bullets. So I called the police, the sheriff. I said, hey man, I found a gun in this house, bro. So he came over, he took it. I didn't touch it. It was in a kind of woolen hat. So he took it and he put it in a bag and he wrote up something. He took it to the station. Sometime after I went to get a report of having, delivered the gun to him, there was no report on that. And so in other words, let me make a long story short. If I had confessed to writing those threatening letters and they had executed a warrant at my place and found that gun, then I was going to jail for a long, long time. So this is what Florida does. Recently I discovered why they were giving me all these problems. Apart from the superintendent all them being intimidated from my eloquent and profound presentation, I just discovered that they're using something I invented, this clean coal burning technology. They call it, the process is carbon sequestration. I started that, tried to get a patent on it, but in Canada, man, they run me out of town. Come over here, same thing, the transfer, the harassment, same thing going down. So it looks as if they want to either get me in jail. And if they get me in jail, they're going to kill you, okay? Or get me in a crazy house so that I will be out of commission, therefore I can't claim. I mean, I don't know if I could get ownership of it, but at least it will look as though these white boys did not invent it. See, so this was the whole deal. They're trying to do all kinds of things to put me in jail or kill me or put me in a mental institution so they could steal the idea and run on with it unopposed. So when I saw this thing, I remember me. Though I had no intentions of shooting at the place, I didn't write no letters. But when they present that in court, man, look, I'd have been gone. And when you confess it, they don't listen to you again. In fact, what they're gonna do is, when you go to court, they will drug you from your house, or if they take you to jail, they can drug you so that you go to court, you can't even figure out, you can't even function, you can't even think straight to defend yourself. And then they give you a public defender who will just sit down on his hand and you get convicted, and then they get what they want, put you in jail, execute you. Get somebody to come in and bust your head with a piece of wood, or say you killed somebody else and they put you on death row. That's how they do it in Jacksonville, Florida, man. They like drama. They like carrying on this terror.